Hey everybody, thank you for joining us once again for our E3 video coverage. I am Griffin McElroy. Joining me is my brother, my colleague and friend Justin McElroy.
Hi Internet.
And joining us from across the country, coast-to-coast transmission, is Arthur Gies, Polygon Reviews editor. Hi Arthur.
Hello.
Arthur is here to tell us a little bit about The Division, which is Ubisoft's MMO action-esque game that has been in development. We've seen for quite a while now. This year during the Ubisoft press conference, we saw another pretty big vertical slice of what the game is going to actually look like. Arthur, can you tell us what you actually got a chance to see of The Division?
Yeah, so they wanted to show their PvP segments, which, so the way that the city is broken down in The Division's New York is that there's open areas and there are segmented areas called dark zones, which are sort of like the highest level of quarantine that the government has. And you have to make a conscious decision to go into a dark zone, and that is where PvP occurs. So if you want to kill other players, that's where you'll be going, but also dark zones have what was suggested to me to be the best loot in the game. So even for players who don't necessarily want to fight other players, they will want to go into those dark zones to get the stuff that they'll find there.
I was kind of surprised to see that loot being a pretty big aspect of the game, which sure. I feel like is something they've hinted at before, but this time we actually see like almost a sort of MMO structure to the game where, oh, if you play PvP, you'll get this set of rewards, and if you play player versus environment stuff, you'll get
sure.
this set of rewards. Does that seem like something they're leaning into? Like obviously the modern parlance for talking about it is like Destiny. Are they going that hard into the sort of MMORPG-esque stuff, even if it's not technically an MMORPG?
The comparisons that I've been hearing a lot, basically ever since we saw it, is that, well, it looks like an MMO kind of. It's much more like something like Fallout, where you're constantly leveling and getting new gear and exploring a world. So ideally, it won't have the MMO loop of like long, drawn-out gear sort of upgrade cycles, and it'll have much more instant gratification. And I think the separation into zones of PvP as opposed to just broad world-based PvP is borrowed from an MMO, but it's doing it in a smart way. So I like what it's doing there so far. Also, it doesn't play anything like any MMO you've ever touched.
Arthur, I'm not somebody who plays online a lot. I'm much more of like a lone wolf, except when I can't be, like in raids and Destiny, etc. Is The Division something where I'm, as a single player, going to be able to still like a maverick out on his own in the post-collapse New York? Am I still going to be able to like get the full experience?
I think for the most part you will. Like, there might be some gear that you won't find or some zones you won't go to, but it really feels like something that's about exploring this sort of not post-apocalyptic but mid-apocalyptic sort of fall of New York. And also, from a mechanical perspective, it is very much a Tom Clancy game. Like, it feels like somewhere between a Rainbow Six or a Ghost Recon or a Splinter Cell. Like, there's heavy cover, there's sliding from cover point to cover point. The weapons feel very much like they would in like a Rainbow Six game, and the gear feels interesting. So I think that based on what I've seen, there's potential for it to be something interesting, even solo. But I mean, obviously, this is the third E3 that we've seen this game at,
right? And
it's not out this year, so it's hard to say what the game actually is.
It's like, is there a campaign? Is there an end? Can I like finish The Division?
The suggestions that I've seen is that there's absolutely a story, that there's absolutely like an arc, like there are things that you are doing as this group who's assigned as a sleeper cell within New York in this sort of plague-ridden period. So I think that there is a story.
Were you playing multiplayer when you did your demo at E3?
I was playing multiplayer. I was playing PvE.
I wanted to ask. So everything we've seen of the game, I'm excited for The Division, but my excitement has been kind of tempered a little bit by the fact that I haven't played it. Like, it's been in the works for so long, and I feel like it's still such an unknown quantity to me. And these demos that they keep showing are so staged and so like rehearsed, and like no human beings talk like that to each other in an online video game. Like, okay, Jeremy, I need you to slice the pie.
Slice the pie with you, Jeremy.
Slice 90 degrees around the Subaru. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. Like, did you get a feel for if that's how the game is actually going to play, or is it going to be more like Destiny, where people are like, oh, we can get that purple gun. You just stand in this cheese spot, and shoot off a couple rockets, and don't forget to use this specific strategy.
So you definitely need to play more strategically. It is the Tom Clancy school of shooting, where you can die much more easily than I think you would in a lot of sort of like MMOs. And I think Overwatch and tactical considerations are important. It's that kind of shooter. So in that respect, I think that if you go in with that expectation, you won't necessarily be disappointed that it is offering that kind of experience as a tactical cover-based third-person shooter.
Are you excited about that? Like, I haven't asked you that at all. You are maybe the only person at Polygon who's played this game. Are you excited about it? Does it seem like the kind of thing that you're going to get into?
Is it a good game, Arthur?
Obviously, when Ubisoft announced that the Rainbow Six Siege is going to have the terrorist hunt mode back in it, that's like the only thing that you cared about at that point, because that mode we've talked about is the dopest thing in the world. But does,
yeah, we had our Triumph baby moments.
Right, sure. But does the Division get you excited? Does it seem like the kind of thing that you could get into?
I think the Division, what I played, got me interested again for a game where a lot of us had written off that game even existed. I think a lot of people were starting to expect that game was going to get quietly canceled. It was going to be the game that showed up at one more E3 and never shipped. And now I do think that game will come out, and I think that that Ubisoft is really working to make it a game worthy of that sort of legacy of Tom Clancy titles, and I'm looking forward to playing more. I don't know if it's going to be good. I wouldn't say that I'm excited, but I am cautiously optimistic.
That means the same as excited, but less so. It means you're a little excited. Arthur, thank you for joining us to tell us about the Division. I hope you have the good rest of the show, which is going to last about 56 minutes. So if there's any regrets, you better get out there and play them.
Play your regrets, Arthur.
Play your regrets.
That's not playing Mirror's Edge.
Poor Arthur, but not poor you, because there's a lot more video to go watch at Polygon.com, starring myself, Justin McElroy, and this, Griffin McElroy. You can find them all at Polygon.com.